Right. Okay, we'll start. Good evening, all. And online students, can you confirm whether I'm audible? Am I clear? What about online? Am I loud and clear? And the ones on Zoom, please put your messages to the main chat, because now otherwise I can't see it, because it's going to a separate chat box under your name. I can see that I have got a message, but it is not visible directly. Okay then. Right. I think there are a few more students to be joined, but anyway, now it's 6:40. We'll start. Right? We'll start. And since this session is also streamed today on YouTube, if needed, you can go to the YouTube one and rewind and check what has happened before. Right? Okay. Right. Since it's the starting day of paper class 2026, right? First, I'll give you some introductions, like instructions basically, an introduction and instructions about how you should write papers, right? And first thing is now we are going to have exams in August this year, August 26, right? Next year, which means now if I just calculate the time, remaining time for the exam. Now it is almost October. Now this is October, right? October means how many months? Less than 10 months, no? Right? Less than 10 months. Say 10 months. It is less than 10 months. Say 10 months. Right? We have 10 months. So therefore, now with the inquiries I have got, I noticed that most of the students who have joined today are joining a paper class for the first time, right? So which means basically you don't have much idea about how you should write papers, right? Having knowledge is one thing, and the way you should answer a paper is another skill you have to develop, right? Sometimes there are students who know everything, all the theory parts, and every knowledge is there, but they don't know to which parts marks are given, right? Then if you miss those points, then even though you have done the whole calculation, say you are missing some required argument you have to mention, then for that argument you won't get the mark. So likewise, there are some deductions because of that unawareness about the marking criteria and the mark allocation basically, right? So therefore, now in this paper class, when you are writing MCQs, structured essays and essay papers with me, right, accordingly I'll be explaining what are the points that you are getting marks, what are the points that you don't get any marks, right? Such lines are also there, because we have to minimize the points, the lines that you don't get any mark, and always you have to maximize and include the lines that you get marks, right? That is how it's going to be. Otherwise, now some students are writing essay papers, especially essays, right? Because for MCQs, that is not going to matter that much, right? Because at the end, that is anyway going to be crossing something, crossing an answer, crossing a cage, right? For the essay questions, now out of 30, now they have done entire calculation, but due to careless mistakes and some unawareness about the marking points, like 23, 24 marks out of 30 are getting finally when the marking is done, having every calculation, each calculation correct, right? So that's a huge disadvantage. So therefore, one thing is I'll be mainly explaining you, not everything today, right? So today plan is, today you will be writing a MCQ. So therefore today I'll be explaining few tips about MCQs. And when we are writing structured essays, next day you are writing a structured essay. and essay, I mean part 2, then with those questions, I'll be explaining those ones as well, I mean accordingly, right? Okay, and the plan is like this. We have 10 months remaining, right? So therefore, 10 months means is a quiet enough time for a paper class to prepare yourself. Even though you are at a 0 level, right? This quite enough time to prepare yourself and like make your grades marks upside down, right? So undoubtedly this is more than enough time period we have now today onwards, 10 months, right? Now the way you are utilizing these 10 months is the key here, right? That is going to be the key here, right? Now if you just waste 10 months, so let's say you are just wasting 6 months out of the remaining 10 months the way that you are already today, then that is not going to work out that anticipated way, expected way, right? So therefore, now first thing, follow all the instructions I'm giving weekly basis, especially in the paper class regarding papers and question writing, because that's a must to be followed if your target is getting a grade or a B grade or a rank higher than that, right? Now, always the effort you are putting and the amount of work you are doing will reflect your final grade, right? Simply, that is how it is going to be. They are directly proportional things, right? Basically, they are directly proportional, right? So therefore, first thing is, during the first month, I have planned to include questions as to recall your previous theory parts, right? Basically, main purpose of the first papers, give me 1 second. Main purpose of the first papers you are going to have is recalling the theory parts you have had before, right? Now, in my theory class 26, now we are doing Doppler's effect. We have to start Doppler's effect, right? Then after the first month, we'll be including questions. I'll be including questions up to the ongoing lesson in the class, right? Or a little bit more as well. And before 6 months of time, which means first month is 4. First month also you'll be writing 4 papers with me during the first month. And the purpose of these first 4 papers is to recall theory parts, right? Still by using questions, otherwise I'm not going to recall theories as theories. We'll be recalling theories using questions, right? So in the first month, during the first month, 4 papers, the main purpose is, right? Main purpose is recalling theory parts, but for you, there will be like number of new learnings from each question we discuss here, right? And for the main discussion, all the questions I'm getting are model paper questions, not the past paper questions. About the past papers, I have a different plan. I'll explain it later, right? All the questions you are discussing here in the paper class with me will be model paper questions other than past papers, right? And after second month onwards, I'll be including all the questions up to waves, and accordingly, like week by week or month by month, according to the ongoing lesson, I'll be including questions here. Let's say now in the theory class, we are doing optics, then you will be getting questions up to optics, right? And when you are doing thermal, you will be getting questions up to thermal. Likewise, it goes. And last 4 months, this continues up to here, and this is last 4 months. And last 4 months, during last 4 months, we'll be start writing full papers, right? So which means even though some lessons are ongoing in the theory class, we'll start writing full papers. The reason is you can elect questions and write especially in essays, right? So even though let's say now our final unit is going to be matter and radiation. Now even though matter and radiation is ongoing in the class, the elective question that is common with matter and radiation is thermal. Thermal is covered way before, right? So in last 4 months, my plan is to write full papers. Then during last 4 months, which means minimum 16 full papers we'll be writing. Minimum 16 full papers. 1 second. right? Minimum like 16 full papers will be. This is how I have broken down the remaining 10 months as a plan for the paper class. Right? 1 second, please. The ones on Zoom, am I audible clearly? Yes, right? Can you give me a quick confirmation? Anyone? It's fine now, which means was it week before? Yeah. Oh, this classroom, I guess there's a small drop of signals. Is there something you have noticed? Okay. Right now, fine now. Yeah, there's a small lag. What about the sound? Yeah, there's a small lag. Yeah, there's a lag. But now I think it's fine. There's a lag. Now I just noticed that there's a small drop in signals for this particular room. Right, okay. So what I was explaining was, so this will be the breakdown for the paper class this year, right? For 26. Right, this will be the breakdown. So in last 4 months, this is a very sufficient, adequate time remaining for the full papers, because the minimum will be writing 16 full papers. So before 16 full papers also, we have 6 months to practice all other types of questions, all the types paper based, right? Okay, now about today's plan. Listen, about today's plan, this is what we are going to do today. Today, you will be writing an MCQ paper of 25 MCQs with me. With me in the sense, now since most of you are writing papers as papers for the first time today, right? I'll be giving you the instructions and some idea about the timing you can have by practicing questions here with me today. And next month onwards, right? So during the first month, that would be the plan. And next month onwards, you can get the paper before, like say 5 days before. You can get the paper 5 days before, and you can, if you are writing physically, you can come to the Leesa Institute Foreigner or Machma College Bambalapitiya and write the paper physically there at the institute and join the discussion on Mondays in the same time, like 6:30 to 9:30, right? So if you are writing physically, now for the startup to take the start, now we'll be writing questions with me today, and for the common structured questions and essays as well to give you the idea, and then as per your preference, right, we will discuss with the institute and let you know the dates. As per your preference, you can allocate a time slot at the institute, at any institute that you are willing to come and write it physically, and you can keep the paper here. Then it will be taken to the grading, and you can get the graded paper by the next week, something like that, right? And discussion always goes on Mondays from 6:30. Now initially it's 6:30, 9:30, but that is extendable to 10 or 10:30 in the coming parts, because you will see when we are writing papers with 50 MCQs and 8 essays, 4 structured essays, 3 hours is not going to be enough to discuss all questions, right? So based on that, sometimes we might need to adjust, right? For the start, we'll be starting off with 3 hours. Right, any questions? Online students should write the paper online. Yes. For online students, this is how it's going to be. See, this is for online students. For online students, this is how it is going to be. If you are writing the paper online, if you are joining the paper class online, everything will be done through the website, right? I saw some of you have already created your accounts, right? You can go there and get enrolled yourself, and you can enroll yourself for the paper class 26, and under each week you will see the respective paper on the website, right? So you can get it, and then if you are writing it online, I'll be allocating a submission link, right? So in that submission link, it will be a submission link expired after, now let's say you are writing a 2-hour paper, that's a submission link expired after 2 hours. Then you can write the paper within that 2 hours, and you can submit to that link, right? Then I can get the paper from my end. Got it? And joining the class also will be done through the same website. You can just go there and you will see the join button, some button as join class under each week. Then if you click on that button, you can join to the class next week onwards, right? Right, for online students, everything will be done using the website only, right? Using the website only. And if you need any recordings also, that is also gettable using the website only, right? Okay. Any other questions? What about you? Any questions? All good? All good? Right, and for online students, I have put a link, a Telegram link to get the paper. For the students on YouTube, you can see a pinned message in the live chat. And for the ones on Zoom, I think, can anyone paste that link to the Zoom chat from the group, right? Because now I don't have access to the group from that connected laptop. So therefore, can anyone get that link and paste it on the main chat, right? Then everyone can get the paper. Or else you can just go to the YouTube and get it from that pinned message there, right? If you're already in the group, that is in the group. Next, is also done through website now, since it is a pre-session today. I mean, starting day today. Worst case, drop me a message to my WhatsApp number. Worst case, if you can't get it, Otherwise, I can't look at the phone always. One student has requested through the WhatsApp, so I sent. But worst case, send it to me. Right. Okay, someone has put the paper. Okay, thanks. All right. Now we'll start then. Okay. Okay, now all of you can download now. Right. I think for the ones on YouTube also, it's fine now. There was a lag before in the YouTube video. I think now it's fine. Yeah, it seems so. Yeah. Okay. All right. Now, about today's paper, right? About today's paper, this consists of 25 MCQs, right? This consists of 25 MCQs. And now it's yeah, exactly 7 p.m. Right. Now, since it's the first day, you will be writing the paper with me as sets of questions. Sets of questions in the sense, we'll be writing the paper as sets of questions. Sets of questions in the sense, let's go sets of 5 by 5, like sets of 5, right? Which means 5 by 5, which means now let's say for first 5 questions, don't write now. For first 5 questions, now I'll be giving you a time for first 5 questions. Let's say I gave you, now since it's the first day, first day, let's say I gave you 15 minutes to try first 5 questions. Then during 15 minutes, you can try only the first 5 questions, only the first 5, right? Even though you know how to do it or doesn't know how to do it, since this is MCQ, you better trust the correct answer or the most correct answer or your best guess if you don't know anything, right? And after that 15 minutes, I'll be discussing those 5 questions, right? And once the discussion goes on, I recommend you to have separate sheets or a separate book for the paper class, right? If you are using separate sheets, what you can do is you can take down all notes on those separate sheets, and once the class is ended, attach that sheet to the paper and keep it in a folder or somewhere, because now you can collect all the papers. You have to collect, not can collect, you have to collect all the papers that we are writing in the paper class in a folder for the future reference. Because the reference in the sense, now say you are trying a different paper, let's say you are trying a term test paper or something, and you notice that a similar type of a question is already discussed in the paper class, but you still couldn't do the question you had in the term test. Now in such a case, you should be able to come back and check that particular question from that paper, how we have discussed, how we have done the question, and what's the point that you have went wrong, right? That's the idea. That's the idea, right? So therefore, keep it organized. Organized in the sense, have a proper organizing method for the papers and keep it folded or organized. My papers are numbered, so you can keep it with this reference number here, right? Paper 1, 2, 3, 4, likewise, they are numbered. Then you can keep that in accordance to those numbers, in accordance with those numbers, right? Okay, now listen. One more second. Now, since it's the first day, still some inquiries are coming. One second. Okay. Right. Listen. right? So usually the way I do in-class writing is with a timer. For the online students, I'm usually sharing the timer as a shared screen. But today, since I notice lag in signals, I'll try, but I'm not sure whether it's working properly, right? Let's see. And anyway, even though the timer is working or not, anyhow, I'll be mentioning the times here, right? So this is how we are going to start. First thing, since you are writing MCQs today, right? Since you are writing MCQs today, so basically, you know, when it comes to MCQs, there's a pattern of MCQs we have in A levels, right? Pattern in the sense, pattern in the answers, pattern in the answers in the sense, with the simple logic about that particular question, usually from 5 answers, you can remove 3 answers. That's a standard we have in GC A levels, right? That's a standard we have. So which means if you know a small thing, a little argument, a small argument, a scientific, a logical argument, if you know a standard logical argument, usually you can remove 3 answers, and sometimes you can remove 2 answers. Usually it's 3, right? And usual tie is going to be between 2 answers, right? එහෙම තමයි මේ papers හදන්නේ. ඒ කියන්නේ ඒක ස්ටෑන්ඩඩ් එකක් තියෙනවනේ. ඒක තමයි ස්ටෑන්ඩඩ් එක. ස්ටෑන්ඩඩ් එක කියලා කියන්නේ එහෙම එකක්. එතකොට දැන් හදිස්සියවත් ආන්සර් එකක් දන්නේ නැති එකක් තියෙනවා නම් හරිද? දන්නේම නැත්නම් පොඩි හරි ලොජික් එකක් දන්නවනම් ගොඩක් වෙලාවට ඔයාලට එලිමිනේට් කරන්න පුළුවන් මොන හරි ආන්සර්ස් ටිකක්. So try to eliminate those answers and pick the most correct one out of the remaining, right? And if there is just from a theory part, then that is totally based on your recalling ability. But if there is a calculation, right, especially a calculation, right, always do the calculation. It will be a proper equation application. Do the calculation with the proper application and get the answer. And most importantly, be mindful with your simplifications, because even if you made a mistake in simplifications, in MCQs, the wrong answers are also included. Right? Let's say, as an example, now you had to multiply something by 2, but you forgot. Then if you didn't multiply by 2, let's say 10 is coming, 10 is also there. If you multiply by 2, 20 is coming, 20 is the correct answer, but 10 is also there, 40 will be also there. So likewise, the remaining 4 answers are also going to be 4 answers that you will end up if you made mistakes, right? So therefore, it's kind of critical. Sometimes you might think that you have got the answer by a calculation, through a calculation, but yet due to a mistake only you have got that answer, and that is also appeared in the answers. That is how it is. يعني answer එකක් විතරක් හරි එකක් දාලා අනිත් ඒවාට නිකන් බොරු ඒවා නෙමෙයි දාන්නේ. mistakes වලින් එන answers තමයි තියෙන්නේ. එහෙම තමයි හැටි. ඒකත් standard එක. Right? So therefore be very mindful with your simplifications if you are doing a calculation especially. Right? Okay. Then yes. Right. Then we will start first. I think by now all the online students have downloaded the paper. Can you quickly confirm whether you have downloaded it or not? Can you quickly confirm? Or tell me if there's anyone who couldn't download the paper yet. Downloaded. Okay. Is there anyone who couldn't download the paper yet? I hope not. Okay. Okay. Right. Right. Now we'll start. Now the time is 7:08. See, now first we are in first 5 questions. 1 to 5. 1 to 5 questions. Right. And now the time is 7:09. Right. Start at 7:10. I'll be giving you time until 7:25 for first 5 questions. Right. Right, until 7:25, and after 7:25 we will be discussing first 5 questions, and then we are moving on to next 5 questions. Again, I will be giving you the time you have to write and the discussion. So likewise, first we will complete these 25 questions, and in today's paper it covers only up to fiction, because I told you in the first month my plan is to recall the theory parts from the initial parts. Now this covers up to fiction only, right? In mechanics, friction only. And in the next paper, it will cover entire mechanics. So likewise, we'll be extending. Since it's a starting day, right? We are going to recall the theory parts, all the theory parts today about unit 1 and unit 2 up to friction, right? Okay, start now. Start now. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask me anytime. Even though you are online or physical, doesn't matter. Feel free to ask questions at any time in any language other than Tamil. Right? I couldn't understand. I can't understand Tamil. Right? So ask your questions, forward your questions in English or Sinhala. That doesn't matter. Right? So try first 5 questions. Try first 5 questions. If you have anything to clarify, right, you can ask your questions, that's fine. If there's anything to clarify for any subject matters or anything, any inquiries about the class, if there's anything, feel free to ask. Okay. Finished? What to do? Yes. Right. Okay, now we'll go to the discussion of first five. Okay, stop writing and look at here. Right? Question one. Question one. What is the physical quantity that contains the dimension MLT minus 1? Right. So simply, you have to know dimensions of all these given physical quantities. Right? Simple as that. Right? I'll recall all dimensions if there's anyone who don't know the dimensions, right, of these physical quantities. Right? Power. Power. What can you say? What is the dimension of power? Now, if you don't know, if you know the equation, you can get it done using the equation as well. What's the dimension of power? What is power as an equation? Sorry? No, I couldn't hear. Yeah, work over time or energy over time. Work and energy are having same dimensions and units, right? So therefore, as an equation, power can be written as energy over time or work over time, right? Dimensions of energy is ml squared t minus 2. Time is 3. So this is ml squared t minus 3, right? Now, if you can recall, that is better. If you don't know, this is how you can do it, right? ml squared t minus 3. And then force, very straightforward. What's the dimension of force? mlt minus 2. F equals ma, right? Then momentum. For momentum also, usually the right? This is momentum c, right? mv, mass into velocity, dimensions is lt minus 1. Then this is going to be mlt minus 1, right? And force. What is a couple of force? Force couple, force couple. Online students, is it still lagging? What about now? Is it still lagging? Now, okay. The thing is actually this. I'm conducting a class in this room for the first time, this classroom for the first time, and I didn't notice that there's a drop-in signals for this particular room, right? So therefore, everything is arranged now. Now I can't change the setup. That's the thing. Next day onwards, I'll fix this. Now, before starting this also, if I notice that, I'll be looking for a different option. But now, for this room, there's a small drop. Even for the mobile signals, that's same. I don't know what the reason. Right? I'll be fixing it by the next day. Right? Sorry for the inconvenience. Because I didn't aware. Right. Is it totally fine now? Is it totally fine now? Yeah. Okay. So if you notice a lag in the voice, right? Send a message, then at least I notice that it's lagging now, because like once in a while that comes, somehow a drop is coming, a signal drop is coming. So I tried opening Windows as well, because sometimes now such cases are also there, right? If all the windows are closed, there are cases where the mobile signals are not transferred, because there is an electromagnetic wave. No? Since there is an electromagnetic wave through the obstacles, waves through the obstacles, when it propagates, there are deviations, right? Cases there. Let's see. Okay. So then, first one is dimension of MLT minus 1. No? There is momentum. There is momentum. This one, which means for first one, answer 3. For first one, answer 3. For the first one, answer 3. Okay, question 2. So if there's anything you need to take down, don't wait until I ask you to take it down, right? Because now the understanding is different from one student to the other student, right? That is different, because everyone is not going to understand the same thing in the same manner, right? That is up to you. That's the nature. I mean, that is how it is. There are no any perfect ones, or there are no any like all fluent ones. That is the equilibrium we have in this world. එහෙම තමයි හැමෝම ඉංජිනේරින් යන්න බෑනේ. එහෙම කිව්වොත් ඉතින් ෆැකල්ටිස් වල ඉඩක් නැහැ. ඒවා කරන්න බෑ. එහෙම වෙන්නේ නැහැ. Because ඒකට රේෂියෝ එකක් තියෙනවා. Ratio in the sense, what's the ratio? සාමාන්‍යයෙන් දන්නවද physics වල what's the ratio of getting an A? එහෙම idea එකක් තියෙනවද? In physics? I don't know. Can you guess? Can you guess the subject with? I'm asking from the science stream subjects, including ICT. Can you guess the subject with least number of A passes? You think it's physics? Huh? Yeah, it's physics. It's physics. And now as a percentage, can you guess any value? Yeah, percentage guess as a percentage, what's the rough percentage of getting an A pass for physics? No idea. Online? No idea? What do you idea? Please don't put the response to the private messages, because I can't see it. Now today the display is a little bit away from me, so I can't access it every time. But once you put into the main chat, it is automatically appeared. Then I can see. Right? Please. Either. Can you go to the main chat? No any idea? It is actually, let me check this. %30. I'm asking the percentage of getting an A pass. 30% means once 1 of 3 or 1 in 3 is going to get an A. No way. No. It is actually 4%. That is 4, just 4. Right? A passes in 4%. Minimum A passes in physics world. There are reasons. Right? Chemistry get chemistry වලත් එහෙම ගොඩක් නෑ ඉතින් chemistry වලට නිකන් 30 40 වගේ එහෙම නෑ chemistry වල කීයක් තියෙනවද chemistry වල around 7 වගේ එන්නේ around 7 වගේ and what's the subject most of the students are getting F passes ඒ කියන්නේ failing මේ A level science subjects වලින් අහන්නේ නිකන් idea එකක් තියෙන්න ඕන are you doing biomaths what's the subject the most of the or the most number of students are failing. What is it? No, not physics. Not physics. Physics pass percentage එක වැඩි. ඒ තමයි අඩු. Pass percentage එක වැඩි. What is it? Easy guess එකක් තියෙන. Combined maths. What's the reason? What's the reason? No MCQs. That's the reason. Combined maths තමයි වැඩිම fail වෙන්නේ. As a percentage, now last time stats වලට ගත්තොත් usually it's around 27-30 වගේ යනවා last time 28 again after each exam or after each year the stats are uploaded to the Department of Examinations website around 20 almost 1/3 is failing right combined maths කියන්නේ එහෙම subject එකක් and can you guess the subject with most number of A passes interesting facts ඉඳන් ඉන්නවා Yeah, definitely I'll fix it by next week. Because the thing is, I'm not prepared because Right. I switched the connection. What about now? Can you quickly confirm? Oh, okay. Okay. Right. Okay. Okay. Now it will be fine then. Second one, capillary rise of a capillary tube is given by the formula H equals. Okay. Right. H equals KD over ROG. When rho is density of the liquid, T surface tension, K dimension less constant, R radius of capillary tube, G gravitational acceleration, H height of water column. What is the dimension of T? Right. So T here refers to surface tension, right? So if you have done surface tension or if you have come across surface tension, this is an actual equation we have that we are proving in surface tension. KD over ROG, we are proving without K. Now, otherwise, it's an actual equation, right? So if you need T, right? If you need T, now the purpose here is substituting to this equation and getting T. Otherwise, there are few other equations of T as well. So if you know any other different equation of surface tension also, you can get it done because that is same surface tension. Right? Any equations are good. Then make a T in making exam, make substitute color. Right? H is height of the column. Right? So substitute all these dimensions. Substitute all the dimensions. Right? L. And K is dimensionless. Dimensionless constants are, they either can be neglected or else if you are using it for a calculation, always you can write it as 1. Right? Dimensionless now 1 kilo. And we need T. This is what to be determined. R is a radius. L, rho is a density. What is the dimension of density? Density is mass over volume, no? ml minus 3. ml minus 3. ml minus 3. G, gravitational acceleration. Gravitational acceleration is an acceleration. Right? Then LT minus 2. Right? Simplify this. Simplify this. Here we have L cube. Right? Let me cross multiply and see. Here L means L squared. L squared is going to be multiplied with this thing. So L cube comes. And here L minus 3 is also there. And M T minus 2. These two are going to cancel each other. Right? Then dimensions of T is MT minus 2. Dimensions of T is MT minus 2. So if you do the simplification properly, you will get MT minus 2, answer 2. For 2, answer 2. For 2, answer 2. Answer 2. Is it fully fine now? Online ones? Oh, still there's a little lag. Oh, totally fine. Okay. All right. Okay, is it clear? What's the correct answer? MT minus 2, right? Otherwise, this is an equation. This is an equation for surface tension. F equals TL के लिए equation නැති වෙන surface tension එකේ. මේකෙන් ඉතින් එකපාරින් ගන්න පුළුවන්. දැන් මේ equation එක use කරලා හදන්න දීලා තියෙන්නේ. ඒකයි එකෙන් අරන් පෙන්නුවේ. නැත්නම් මේක දන්නවා නම් මේක එකපාරින් ගන්න පුළුවන්. F equals TL. Force, surface tension, contact in length. Right? මේක තමයි surface tension force එකේ equation එක. This is called force due to surface tension. Right? That comes under surface tension. Right? ඒක දන්නවා නම් ඒකෙන් ගන්නත් පුළුවන්. මේ question එක දීලා තියෙන්නේ මේකෙන් ගන්න නිසා මේකෙන් අරන් පෙන්නුවේ. Right? Next one. The unit of measuring household electricity consumption is kilowatt hours. Right? This is a very popular unit. Now, if you just walk to your electricity meter, and if you see the unit mentioned in the gauge, that is this kilowatt hours. Or else, by any chance, if you have checked one of your electricity bills, you can see this. Can අපේ consumption එක දාලා තියෙන්නේ මේකෙන්. අර points කියලා කට්ටිය කියන්නේ 1 point means 1 kilowatt hour. 1 point, 1 electric consumption unit is 1 point. 1 point is 1 kilowatt hour. Now let's say it's 120 this month, so 120 kilowatt hours. That is the electricity consumption unit, right? So what's the question? The physical quantity that is measured by kilowatt hours is, what is it? Power? No. Energy? Energy. What about online? Any answers? Any thoughts? Any thoughts? So this is how it can be derived. Kilo is a prefix, no? So keep it aside. Kilo is a prefix. Kilo is a prefix for 10 to the power 3. Keep it aside because it is not going to contribute the dimension or unit here. There is a prefix. Watts. What is measured in watts? What is measured in watts? हम एक breakdown करना. What is measured in watts? Power. Power is energy over time. Power क्या energy over time में? Right? This is hours. What is measured in hours? Time, which means into time. See, T to T cancels and only E remains. So this represents an energy. Right? කෙලින්ම ඕනනම් එහෙම calculation එකක් කරලා ගන්න පුළුවන්. හරි මේක logic එක පාඩම් කරන් ඉන්න ඕනේ නෑ. There is energy. There is energy. Answer 4. For 3, answer 4. Sorry for the interruption happens, right? Because the thing is, I didn't aware. That's why. නැත්තම් මං කෝකටත් backup pack විදිහට මගේ අනිත් router එක අරන් එනවා. මං ගෙනාවේ නෑ. මං ඒක හිතුවේ නෑ. Right? That was the thing. හරි. දැන් මේ router එක switch කරලා දෙන්න. දැන් shape නේ. Okay. 4. What is the value of gravitational acceleration in kilometers per square minute since its value in ms minus 2 is 9.8? Right. A unit conversion. That's a unit conversion. We know this is 9.8 meters per second. Right. Now, if I write this as a fraction, this is 9.8 meters per square second. Right. Now, you have to convert meters into kilometers. Right. කෙලින්ම මේක convert කරන එක ගැන විතරක් හිතන්න. Now we are converting meters into kilometers. Tell me, what's the number? What's the ratio? Meters into kilometers. 10 to the power 3 or minus 3? Minus 3. 10 to the power minus 3. Right? 10 to the power minus 3. Meters into kilometers. Then I need to convert seconds into minutes. What's the conversion? Seconds into minutes. 60 seconds means 1 minute, no? Then how it's going to convert? Seconds into minutes. 60 or 1 or 60? Seconds into minutes. 60 or 1 or 60? 1 or 60? 60 name 1 or 60? Because 60 seconds is 1 minute. Right? 1 over 60. So therefore this is 1 over 60 whole thing square. Right? Make a simplify කරගත්තා නම් වැඩේ ඉවරයි. 9.8 10 to the power minus 3. මෙයාගේ reciprocal එක දාන්න පුළුවන් නේ. Right? The reciprocal is 3600. Right? එහෙනම් මේක simplify කරන්න. 9.8 times 3.6 කියන value එක simplify කරන්න ඕනේ. කීයද? 9.8 times 36 කියන value එක ගන්නවා. 36 times 10 කියන්නේ 360 කියන්නේ මේ close 1 දෙන්නේ නේද? simplify කරා? හරි. 36 times 9.8 නේ. 3.42 කියලා එන්නේ. මේක answer එක නැද්ද? Is it? Answer enough there? Yeah. It seems answer now. Okay. Huh? No? Yeah. What? 35 point හරියට මම සිම්ප්ලයි කරලා දෙනවා. 35.28 comes. හරි? හරියට. answer දෙන්න. මම questions ටික check කරාම ඒක බැරිද? Right. Now 9.8 times 36 is what the 35.28 නේ? 35.28. 35.28. Right? तर මෙතන 10 to the power ටික අයින් කළා දාන්න. මෙතන 10 to the power minus 3 and මම මෙතනින් ගත්තේ 9.8 times 36, right? And that is this. Then 10 to the power minus 1 remains. 35.28. Approximate answer is given 35.3. 35.3 answer 1. Okay, next one. 5. Value of, okay, is this clear? Right? Unit conversion එකක් තියෙන්නේ. හරියට මෙන්න මේ දෙක convert කරගත්තා නම් අර ඉවර. අනිත් එක කොහොමද different numbers දීලා තියෙන්නේ. මේ 10 to the power එක ඕනෙත් නැහැ. මෙන්න මේක විතරක් simplify කරගත්තා නම් මේ කියන්නේ different numbers නේ ඔක්කොම තියෙන්නේ. 10 to the power ඕනේ නැහැ. 30 ගණන් වෙන මොකුත් නැහැ. ඉතින් අර guess කරන්න පුළුවන්. මම කලින් guess කරේ ඒකයි. මම මෙහෙමනේ guess කරේ. කියන්නේ දැන් මේකනේ simplify කරන්න දෙන්නේ 36 into 9.8 නේ. 36 times 10 is 360. Then this should be a little bit less than 360. So මේ 35 numbers එකයි තියෙන්නේ. Right? Which means it is little bit less than 36. එහෙම කියලා guess කරන්න පුළුවන්. කියන්නේ මේ MCQ එක. So therefore guessing is also a skill you should have. That මේකේ 35.3, 35.4, 35.6 එහෙම තිබ්බනම් guess කරන්න බෑ. But මේක guess කරන්න පුළුවන් වෙන දීලා තියෙන්නේ. Right? Different numbers set එකක් දීලා තියෙන්නේ. ටක් ගාලා guess කරන්න ඕනේ. හරි මේක 9.8 කියන එක 10 දාලා බලන්න. If this was 10, that is 360. Right? Then it should be a value a little bit less than 360. Right? එම් කියලා කෙලින්ම guess කරලා ඒක මේක simplify කරන්න එපා. ඇත්තටම simplify කරන්න එපා කියලා කියන්නේ. මම simplify කරලා බැලුවේ answer එක නැද්ද කියලා. නැත්තම් simplify කරන්න ඕනේ නැහැ. Right? එහෙම වෙන තමයි answers ටික දීලා තියෙන්නේ. Okay, 5. Value of main scale division of a vernier caliper is x centimeters. Main scale. Right? Main scale is x. X, but that is centimeters. Okay. N number of vernier divisions are coincided with n minus 1 number of main scale divisions. What would be the least count in the measurement? Okay. Measurement, least count is also asked in centimeters then. For least count, there are two equations. Right? One is 1 division of main scale over number of vernier divisions. Number of vernier divisions. Right? කෙලින්ම මේකට දැම්මම answer එනවා. 1 division of main scale is x. Number of vernier divisions n. x over n. එහෙම නැත්නම් තව equation එකක් තියෙනවා. ඒකෙන් හදන්නත් පුළුවන්. හැබැයි දිගයි. It will be a bit lengthier compared to this. Least count can also be written as 1 main scale division minus 1 vernier scale division. Right? 1 main scale division minus 1 vernier scale division. Vernier scale division එකේ length එක හොයා ගන්න ඕනේ. Length of vernier scale division should be determined because length of main scale and length of vernier scale is equal. හරි ඒක දාලා මේක හොයාගෙන එකකින් ගන්නත් පුළුවන්. හැබැයි මේක use කරන්න එපා. මේක MCQ වань. මේක අනිවාර්යෙන් use කරන්න. That's a popular equation. It's a popular equation. Right? Okay. Then what's the answer? 4. For 5, answer 4. For 5, answer 4. All right. Any questions about first 5 questions? Anything to clarify? All good? What about you? All good? Online students? Is it all good about first 5 questions? Is it all clear about first 5? Right. Okay, then next 5 questions. Okay, it's 8-1. For next 5 questions, I'll give you 12 minutes, right? Next 5 to 10. The reason to reduce to 12 minutes is I had to spare some time for that connection issue and everything, no? Right? Now we are almost late. All right, 12 minutes. So next 5 questions, 12 minutes. Now it's 8-1. So you can try up until 8:13. 8-1 to 8:13. Right? There's a typo. Wait. 6 graph 6 graph 7-8. Right? The velocity time graph of an object in linear motion is given below. The displacement of the object when the time is 20 seconds. Right? That respective graph should come under 7. Right? Please note it. Please note that the graph printed in question 6 is the respective graph of question 7. Please note it. Right. I hope it's clear that graph should come under question 7. The graph should come under question 7, not question 6. For question 6, the formula is given. Which question are you doing? 10, last one. 10. Okay, let's see. Question 6. Displacement of an object is given by the formula x equals 2d minus 3d squared plus t cube. What's the displacement when t equals 2 seconds? T stands for time in seconds. Very straightforward. Very straightforward. T is also given in seconds. Substitute t here. We need displacement. Now, this is the formula. This is the equation for displacement. Right? So, in other words, this gives us the relationship between displacement with time. Now, time is given when t equals 2. Right? So, when t equals 2 means just plug 2 here and simplify. 2 times 2 minus 3, 2 squared plus 2 cube. 4 here, this is minus 12 here plus 8, which means 0, right? 0. 0. Answer 1. For 6, answer 1. 0. Next one. The velocity time graph of an object in linear motion is given below. The displacement of the object when time equals 20 seconds is. Right. That's a VD graph. If there is a VD graph, displacement is given by what? The respective theory part here is area of VD gives right, gives displacement, right, area of VD. Now check these two areas. Maximum values are given as 6 and 6, no, which means they are 6 and minus 6, right, 6 and minus 6, and times are also same, which means without doing any calculation we can see that these two areas are equal. But directions are different, right? Getting a negative velocity means opposite direction. So which means the motion has, now if I explain the motion behavior, up to first 5 seconds, it is accelerating towards one direction, right? And next 5 seconds, decelerating towards the same direction, right? And then a momentarily velocity is coming to 0, right? Which means there is going to be a turning point, right? Ordering the direction, switching the direction, and then from 10 to 15, negative velocity means it is coming back with an acceleration, because velocity increases in the opposite direction, and from 15 to 20, that is decelerating towards the same coming back direction, right? Now areas of these two are equal, which means total displacement is going to be 0, right? That is also 0. Areas are equal and opposite. Areas are equal and opposite. No need to do any calculation, right? Just observe, equal and opposite. So therefore, displacement is 0, right? If a distance is asked, right? What's the distance? If the distance is asked, triangle again 10 into 60, again 30, again 60 meters, right? 60 meters. Distance again 60. Right, 8. Right, this is an easy one. Then for 7, what's the answer? Answer 2. For 7, answer 2. 8. An object is projected from the edge of a 40-meter height building with velocity 20 ms minus 1 and 30 degrees ascending angle. Right, something like this. So first, you better have a sketch from this building of 40 meters. From this building of 40 meters, right? This is projected at the edge, with 20 and 30, right? Which means it is something like this, 20 ms minus 1 with the angle 30, right? 20 ms minus 1 with the angle 30. What is the time taken by object to reach ground? Okay, ground is here, right? So this is going to do a projectile motion like this, right? If you need time, directly we can use an equation like x equals ud plus half ad squared downwards from here to here, A to B, right? A to B, right? Then downwards, the move distance is 40, right? And u is, we know, the component comes here is 20 sine 30, right? Component comes here is 20 cos 30. Towards the angle, always cos component comes, away from the angle, sine component comes, and this whole component is only possible with acute angles, right? Can you explain it again? To which question you refer to? I didn't see. To which question you refer to? Yeah, I'll explain. Put the question number, right? Then u 20 sine 30 is upwards. Now we are using the equation downwards. This is an upward vector, so it should be minus. Then minus 20 sine 30. What's the value of sine 30? Half, right? And t, we need t. We are using the equation downwards. Gravitational acceleration is downwards, so it is going to be plus, then plus half 10 t squared. So you are getting a quadratic equation. Simplify this equation. 40 equals minus 10t plus 5t squared. This is divisible by 5, which means 8t equals minus 2t plus t squared. So the quadratic equation is t squared minus 2t minus 8 equals 0. Right? Factorize this. 2 and 8, 4 times 2, no? Right? Then minus 4 plus 2. Correct? From here, t equals 4 seconds comes. From here, t equals t equals minus 2. This is contradictory. So answer is t equals 4. T equals 4. 4 seconds, answer 2. Did you get it? How did you? Oh, you got. Right. Seventh. All right. Area under VD curve gives displacement. Right? Area under VD curve gives displacement. Then, if you consider the positive side, right? In the positive side, there is a motion in a particular direction, let's say rightward direction. First part is accelerating, and then it is decelerating to the same direction. And then at this point, velocity becomes 0. And velocity is becoming negative means it is coming back, right? It is coming back again. And again, it comes back to this point with an acceleration and deceleration, right? Now, area under the curve for this side is the distance moved to the rightward direction from the initial point. And area under curve in the opposite direction means there is a distance moved from that switch point to the initial point. Since these two are equal, which means the object is again at the initial point. Same initial point, which means no displacement, because displacement means the shortest distance between start and end, no? 0. Is this clear? This is a projectile motion. Now, sometimes if you mistakenly use plus here, right? If roots are coming, the answer is මෙතනදී. කාටතාවද නැද්ද? හරිද? මේ අනිත් equation එක මෙතන plus දාලා වැරදිලා මෙතනින් root එකක් එනවා. root එකක් ආවොත් ඒ root එක ඕක ඇති. හරි? එහෙම තමයි වෙන්නේ. roots එන්නේ නැති equation එකක් නම් ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ. මොකද සමහරලාට සමහර roots නැති equations තියෙනවා plus minus change වුණාම. roots එන equation එකක් නම් ඒ answers උත් ඔකේ තියෙනවා. So be mindful. 9. An object which is following linear motion is moving 14 meters distance within 5th second. Alright. An object which is following a linear motion is moving 14 meters within the 5th second. Right. So let's say, right, I need to sketch this a bit. Let's say the object is starting the motion from here at t equals 0. Right. Then during the 5th second means it is somewhere here, somewhere in between. No? Right? We make a 5th second. 5th second start at t equals 4 and ends at t equals 5. This is called the 5th second. Right? An object which is following linear motion moving 14 meters within 5th second. 14 meters. Right? And 20 meters distance within 8 seconds. Right? 8 seconds starts at t equals 7 and ends at t equals 8. And during this, it has moved 20 meters. 20 meters. Right? What is the distance moved by the object within 15 seconds? Right. Within 15. Right. This is what we need. Okay. First thing, we don't know the acceleration here. We don't know the acceleration here. And about u, nothing is mentioned. Then, what's the thought we have? Can we consider u as 0 or can't we consider u as 0? We can't, because it is not given. If u is 0, if you consider u, you should get it as 0. Otherwise, without giving any hints, right? Starting from rest scale, u we don't know. That we don't know. So consider u. Right? So I'll consider the initial velocity as u and acceleration throughout the motion as a. Right? Okay. Now, to get the 14, to get the 5th second, distance moved during 5th second, I'm going to do something like this. Now, I don't want to deal with the velocity here because that is an unknown value. Already I have 2 unknown variables. I don't need to have third unknown variable here again because then we will need minimum 3 equations, right? So therefore, what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply a single equation from t equals 0 to t equals 4 at once, right? And t equals 0 to t equals 5 at once. The difference should be 40 meters, right? What's the equation we can use? It's equals ud plus half ad squared because final velocities are unknown, right? S4 means S up to 4, right? Up to 4 seconds. Ut, what's the t now? 4, right? Half A, this is 4 squared 60, right? Simplify this, S4 equals 4u plus 8a. I'll refer this as equation 1, right? Then I need S5. S5 means up to 5 seconds from 0, from initial, right? Then still u comes, but 5 seconds now. Half, same acceleration, 25, right? Then S5 equals 5u plus 25 over 2a. I'll refer this as equation 2. Right, now get the subtraction of these two. Get the subtraction of these two. That should be 14. And that is my first in the sense, first of 2 simultaneous equations we are going to have. Definitely we have to have 2 simultaneous equations because 2 unknown variables, u and a. Right? We will need only, no, we need both because 15 second we need both. Subtract these two. 2 minus 1. Which means S5 minus S4, S5 minus S4. From here, 5u minus 4u, u, right? U, 25 over 2, 8 is 16 over 2. Then 25 over 2 minus 16 over 2 is 9 over 2. Right? 9a over 2. And this is given, this is 14. So 14 equals u plus 9a over 2. I'll label this as a. This is my first simultaneous equation. I can do the same for 7 and 8. Right? Similar approach. May equations diya balala deduce karanna puluwan na kisi prashnayak naha deduce karanna. You know what deducing is, right? Don't you know? You know, right? Deducing kiyana එක දන්නවනේ. Since we are doing the same thing repeatedly, right? If you can deduce just by looking at these two, right? You better deduce because this is MCQ. This is MCQ. But if you feel like you are going to make mistakes if you are to reduce, then do the simplification because the ultimate goal is getting the correct answer. Even though if you do faster, if you are ending having a wrong answer, that is totally useful. Time එක save කරගත්ත කියලා වැඩක් නැහැ නේ. ඒකට answer එක ඇවිල්ලා නැහැ. Right? So therefore, do something that is comfortable to you. Even if you don't deduce, that is totally fine. You are still in the first paper here, right? About speed and those things. Definitely you will fine tune everything when you are moving ahead, moving forward, right? I'm going to deduce. I need S7. S up to 7. Then 7u plus 49 over 2a. Correct? 49 over 2a. This is my equation 3. ගන්න පුළුවන් එක පාරෙන්. හරිද? S8. S8 should be 8u plus 64 over 2a 4. Right? Get the subtraction again. 4 minus 3. 4 minus 3. S8 minus S7 has to be 20. Has to be 20. 8u minus 7u is u again. Plus 64 minus 49. 25. 25? No, 15. Right? 15 over 2a. This is my equation B. 15 hai, right? Alright, now we have two equations, two simultaneous equations with two unknown variables. Now you should observe that u is same in both, no? Then if you subtract these two, directly a comes, right? Then b minus a. B minus a. Now in this entire question, you have to play around with these linear motion equations, linear motion equations and a simplification, right? B minus a, 20 minus 14. 6. U to U cancels. 15 over 2 minus 9 over 2 means 6 over 2 no? 6 over 2 again 3 correct 6 over 2 or no 6 over 2a these two cancels a equals 2ms minus 2 now a is known if a is known plug this a to either of these equations and find u I'll be using equation a from a 14 equals u plus 9a over 2 9a is 2 over 2 then u equals 5. See, now what if we consider u as 0? Right? U is non-zero. That you can't decide if there is not given. Right? Now, our final target is not yet done. Displacement during 15 seconds. Right? Then S14 and S15 liyandu. Right? Deduce karana puluwan nan deduce karanda. Right? S14 14u plus what's the 14 squared? 196. 196 over 2 a. It has a S15 15u plus 225 over 2 a. Right? Subtract these two again. Then S15 minus S14 equals only u comes. What's the value here? 29. Right? 29 over 2a. Right? Then this is u5 plus 29 over 2a is 2. 2 to 2 cancels. Then 5 plus 29 that is 34. Then 34 meters. That's the answer 2. For 9 answer 2. Who got 34? No. What about you? I couldn't remember the name. What's the name? Dinuki. Right. Online students? Anyone who got 34? Now these are good question from linear motion. Huh? Right? Even if you do it like faster, it takes like minimum 3 minutes. And you have to be very mindful with this simplification. Right? Take it down if you didn't do. From online students, is there anyone who got 34? Anyone? Anyone who got 34 meters? And quickly ask if there's anything to clarify. Quickly ask if there's anything to clarify. Question 10 is also going to be a calculation. Ten one. What about you? Question 10? One. What's the answer? If sun 1.5. What about you? I'm just asking for the calculation. Okay, take this down quickly. And actually, after this first application, all other equations you can deduce. And actually, you have to, because to save time in MCQ case. Now, in terms of simplification, also here there's something to be very mindful. Fractions the simplification Now, this is actually the shortest method for this, but yet you have to deal with 6 equations. Velocity equations around 12. 12 velocities how many different points? 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. Equations 12 equations ആണ്. Finished? What's your name? Methuli? Miyasi? Not Miyasi. Yeah? I can't remember. Milasi? Miyasi. Okay. Finished? Finished? Finish copying now, right? Okay, next one. Next. A 150 meters long train entered into 300 meters long railway platform with 40 ms minus 1 velocity. Again, you better have a proper diagram, right? Diagram means a sketch, right? So let's say this is the platform they are referring about. That is 300 meters long, right? Train is 150 meters long. Entering a train to the platform means that is when the engine comes in, right? Then starting point should be like this. Starting point of the train should be like this. That is when the engine just comes in, right? And this train itself is 150 meters with 40 ms minus 1 velocity. Then velocity of train at this point. Now this is my t equals 0 of the motion. That is where it starts, right? The velocity here is 40 ms minus 1, right? Train passed the platform with 50 ms minus 1. The acceleration of the train would be. Passing a platform means, this is very important. Now, when it comes to train questions, you are getting two types of train questions basically. One is train questions in the sense about passing train questions, right? One is passing like straight objects like signal poles, right? Signal pole straight pole pass. The other thing is platforms. If there is a platform, passing a platform means when engine reaches here or when the tail of the train reaches here. Passing means engine no ඒක තමයි මෙතන point එක. අනිත් එකට හැදුවත් එන answer එක උතන තියෙනවද? තමයි. Right? Passing the platform means then tail of the train should be here. Right? Engine එක ඇවිල්ලා වැඩක් නැහැ. Engine එක ආවට train එක platform එකේ. Passing the platform. Right? So train should be here, tail should be here, engine is somewhere here, right? So then at this point, let's say t equals t, we don't need the rhyme, I'm just mentioning the rhyme, right? Now here this velocity is 50 ms minus 1, right? And now tell me, right, 50 ms minus 1, tell me what's the total displacement covered? These also 150 now. What's the total displacement covered by the train from t equals 0 to t equals 3? From my starting point to the end point, what's the total distance covered? 300, 150 or 450? It's 450, right? That's the point. That's the point. What we need is acceleration, right? Then use v squared equals u squared plus 2as. V squared is 50 squared, u squared is 40 squared plus 2a s. S is the most important thing here. Now displacement of train starts here. Right? Now listen. When you refer displacements, always refer the same point at the beginning and the end. Nothing displacement right? If that is the front of the train, then initially and finally, both cases you have to refer to the front of the train. If you measure the displacement with respect to the back of the train, then in both cases it will be the back of the train. Right? One reference point. Got it? නැත්තම් වෙනස් වෙනවනේ. Right, now I referred the front engine point, right? Then from here to here, කෙලින්ම බලන්න පුළුවන්. From here to here, this is the total displacement moves. 450, right? So that is 450. Very important. මේක තමයි මේකේ important ම case එක. Okay, difference එක තියෙන්නේ මේක pole එකක් කියලා දුන්නා නම් ඔතනට එහෙම එකක් එන්නේ නැහැ. pole එකක් කියලා දුන්නා නම් කෙලින්ම එන්නේ 300. right? pole එක මේ pole එක කියන්නේ signal pole එකක් වගේ තිබ්බනම් signal මේක දන්නවනේ. right? ඒක තිබ්බනම් ඒක ඒ width එක අපි neglect කරනවා. got it? Okay, simplify this thing. Then we can cancel few zeros. ඒ හින්දා මේක එකපාරට ලියන්න එපා. දැන් 50 times 50 is 2500. Don't write it at once, right? This is 40 times 40 plus here 450 times 2 means 900, no? 900 day, right? We can divide the entire equation by 100, right? 0 to 0 to 0 to 0 to these two cancels. This is 25, 16, 9a, which means 9 equals 9a, a equals 1. ms minus 2, a equals 1, a equals 1, 1 can 3. For 10, answer 3. Right? You got one, eh? Good. You got 1.5, you? What? 1.5, both. You also got 1.5? You didn't do. Right, okay. Okay, 840 now, and for next 10 questions. Sorry, next 5 questions. All right, again, I'll give you 12 minutes for next 5 questions, 10 to 15, right? 10 to 15, 12 minutes again, 842, 852, 842, 852. Okay, right. And if you have any questions regarding any clarifications, any questions, any doubts regarding the questions we discussed so far, feel free to ask, right? So whether you are on Zoom or YouTube, doesn't matter. Put that to the relevant chat box. I can see both of them, right? Right. Let's see. Question 11. Question 11. Weight of a AB uniform ladder is W. It is in equilibrium state by tangent with a smooth vertical wall and a rough horizontal floor. What is the correct force diagram? Okay. A smooth vertical wall and a rough horizontal floor. Right. This is a ladder. Right. So we know weight of the ladder is acting from its center of gravity. Since there is a uniform ladder, center of gravity is at the center, at the exact center. Right. And here there is a contact between the wall and the ladder. There is a point at contact. So the reaction is going to be perpendicular to this point. We have a reaction, right? And here there is another point contact. There is another reaction R2, right? Then the moving tendency or slipping tendency at this edge is to this end is to right or left. If the ladder is kept like this, what is the reaction of moving tendency of this edge? To the right. Right? Make a fold, make a collapse, right? So therefore, friction is going to be opposite to that direction like this, right? But force diagrams are given with only 3 forces, which means the resultant of friction and R2 is drawn here in the force diagram. And you should know this. If there is an object under equilibrium, under 3 non-parallel forces, all 3 forces should be concentric. They are going through the same point. This is a theory that we discussed in equilibrium. If an object in equilibrium under 3 non-parallel forces, all of them should be intersecting at a same point. They are concentric, right? So therefore, now already these two are intersected here. Then resultant of these two should go through this point. Got it? මෙන්න මේ diagram එක ඕක ඇඳලා බලන්න. ඒ කියන්නේ හරිය direction එක හිතා ගන්න බැරි නම්. එහෙම හිතා ගන්න බැරි ඒවත් නැහැ ඉතින්. කෙලින්ම 3 එක ගන්න පුළුවන්. Right? 3 no? In case that you couldn't decide which diagram it is going to be, you can make this modification and do it on the paper itself. You can do the modification and you can see it, right? So this is a theory comes from equilibrium. 3 non-parallel forces. Right? Answer 3 for 11. Answer 3 for 11. Answer 3. Right. Next one. 10 identical coins are placed on a horizontal table as shown in the diagram. Mass of each coin is M. The correct statement is right. So they are numbered like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Right. The force exerted on 7th coin from upper coins is 2 mg. Right. It is like this. Now, if you have 2 objects. Right? If you have 2 objects kept on each other, just look at here. If you have 2 objects kept on each other, now at this point should bear the weight of both of them. No? So therefore, if you consider a point like this, the weight of both of objects will occur here. Right? And if you consider a point like this, above this point, only mg is here. Right? So therefore, in such a point, only mg is set. Right? Same object cannot feel the weight of the same object, which means now as an example, let's say now we have a weight, no, but our own weight cannot be felt by the own body. Yeah, no, assume my weight is 6 kilograms, then 600 newtons, right? Weight is 600 newtons. 600 newtons කියන එක මට feel වෙන්නේ නැහැ. Right? අපි 600 newtons යනවා වගේ walk කරන්න ඕනේ. But let's say I'm on a shoulder of someone else, then that particular person will feel that 600 newtons. Right? එහෙම තමයි වෙන්නේ. Own weight එක කියන එක කොහොමද system එකට කියන්නේ that doesn't feel by the system. Right? එහෙනම් මේ උඩින් තියෙන දෙන්නා විතර බලනවා නම් ඇති. The force exerted on 7th one, no? So above 7th, how many coins are there? 3 coins. Then reaction here has to be 3 mg. Because above 7th coin, there are 3 coins. The reaction there is 3 mg. right? Statement is wrong. Second one, the force exerted on 7th coin from 8th coin is 3 mg. From 8th coin, the force exerted on 7th coin from 8th coin is 3 mg. In a way, that is correct. Because anyway, that force is going to be exerted by 8th coin, right? 3 mg ke done now, but just keep it aside and I'm going to check the remaining statements as well, right? The force exerted on 7th coin from 8th coin is 2 mg. Nah, ඒක 2 නෙමෙයි. හරි. කියන්නේ මේ force එක exert කරලා දෙන්නේ මෙහෙම තමයි. මම හරියටම force diagram එක යන්නොත් මෙන්න මෙහෙමනේ මෙතන තියෙන්නේ. හරි. මෙන්න මෙතන එනවා මෙයාගේ reaction එකක් and the equal and opposite reaction will be on the other one according to Newton's third law. Then this reaction is exerted by this one. Right? This reaction is exerted by this one. They are mutual reactions. හරි. ඒතර කියලා දෙන statement එක හරි. So 3 is wrong. The force exerted on 7th coin from 6th coin is 4 mg. On 7th from 6th. On 7th from 6th. ඒ කියන්නේ මෙතන එන එක ගැන අහන්න. හරි. මෙතන එන්නේ all 4 are above no. Then it should be 4 mg. මෙන්න මේ surface එක ගැන කියන්නේ. That should be 4 mg. Towards vertically upwards. The force exerted on 7th coin from the 6th coin. Correct answers දෙකක් තියෙනවානේ. 7th coin from the 6th coin. From the 6th coin. So that is correct because these two reactions are acting here and this is going to be 4 mg. It is also correct. The force exerted on 7th coin from the 6th coin is 5 mg. No. There are two correct statements. There are two correct statements. It should be either 2 or 4. Vertically upward කියන එකත් හරිනේ. Directions හරි. It should be either 2 or 4. There are two correct statements. Either 2 or 4. 2 is also correct. The force exerts on 7th coin from the 8th coin is 3 mg. They are mutual. මෙයාගේ එක හදලා දෙන්නේ මෙයා තමයි. Right? So if you have got either 2 or 4, you can consider it as correct. Both of them are correct. Now, for more clarity, if you need, for more clarity, say these objects are A and B. This is called the reaction exerts on A by B. This is called the reaction exerts on B by A. They are mutual. So, මේ 2 එක කියන එක හරි. 4 එකත් හරි. 13. 2 boxes with masses 12 kg and 7.5 kg. Right. Again, Newton's laws, F equals ma question hai. 12 kg, 7.5 kg, and the string is 0.5 kg. Tensions of two terminals of the string since 20. Okay. Weighted strings. If there is a light string, tension throughout the string is same. Right? If there is not a light string, there is a weighted string, tension changes from point to point of the string. Right? That's a theory behind this. Therefore, tension at this end is going to be, let's say T1, and tension at this end is, that is different, let's say T2. Right? First of all, we need acceleration. To get the acceleration, we can use F equals ma considering the system. For system, considering the system, leftwards. Right? 20, and about this T1 and T2, first tell me whether they are going to cancel or not going to cancel when I consider the system. Cancel. They are going to cancel. The reason is the exact opposite forces which are acting on the string are at the same point to the opposite direction. These two are the mutual forces. Right? These two are not the mutual forces. Because this is the tension on an object by string. Then at the same point there should be a tension on string by object. That is here. We usually don't mark the tensions on strings. We only mark tensions on objects. Right? So therefore, how many different tensions from here to here on the string? Infinity. Infinite points. then all infinite tensions have their mutual tensions on the string, right? So therefore, all infinite tensions are going to be cancelled with the respective mutual tensions on the string, right? So therefore, only 20 remains. Only 20 remains. Total mass of the system 12.5 means 20 again, 28. Then A equals 1 ms minus 2, right? So if there is no, now consider as you prefer. Now you can consider these systems as you prefer, right? So I'll consider this system once to apply F equals ma. Now since the system is detached from here, T1 remains, right? And M is going to be only 12, 1. Then T1 is 8 newtons. T1 is 8 newtons. If T2 is needed, apply F equals ma for this object, then only T2 remains. Mass is 7.5, A is 1, so T2 is going to be 7.5 newtons. 8, 10, 7.5. 8, 10, 7.5, answer 3. So 13, answer 3. 8, 10, 7.5. 14. The shown ABCD frame is prepared with AB, BC, CD and DA. A, B, C, D. Right. Masses of they are M, 2M, 3M and 4M. Right. Then M, 2M, 3M, 4M. Right. The center of gravity of the frame would be. Center of gravity of the frame would be. Right. See. First, I'm going to consider like this. Instead of using these two lines, I'm going to have these two lines for my ease. I'm going to have these two lines for my ease. Right? Now, if I consider the weight spreads from these two sides, right? Now, weight of this thing is going to be at the center. At the center means it goes through this line. So it doesn't matter for the direction. And the weight on this string is 3 mg. That is also at this point, at the center. Right? So that is not going to bias the center of gravity along this axis. But here we have, look at the board, here we have 4 mg. And here you have 2 mg. Right? Always center of gravity displaces towards the heavier side. Right? Now the heavier side is this, which means with respect to this point, center of gravity should be some point displaced to this direction. Right? Similarly, consider the same thing, compare the same thing with respect to horizontal axis. Right? When with respect to horizontal axis, only these two matters. Then here mg acts and here 3 mg acts. The horizontal axis respective weight consider 3 mg. Then from this point, it is going to come down, displaces downward side. Then resultant is, it is going to displace somewhere in between. Resultant can in between points only T. Answer is T. Center of gravity questions make a trick here. Right? If you have a symmetric system, you better argue with symmetric lines. Right? You can't heavier sides moments moments. What's uniform kila kiwa na? Rod should be uniform. With same length kila vitara iyaldi, right? With same length. Same length kila kiwa right? And uniform by default consider if there is non-uniform, it will be given as non-uniform, right? 15. Now always try to argue using symmetric lines in center of gravity for arguments. If you couldn't do anything with an argument, then go to a calculation. The moments ලියලා calculate කරලා ගන්න පුළුවන්. එහෙම කරලා වැඩක් නැහැ MCQ ගන්න. නැත්නම් calculate කරන්න පුළුවන්. force moments ලියලා ගන්න පුළුවන්. We don't need exact values. That's why. Calculate කරොත් exact value එක එනවා කෙරෙන්නේ. Okay, 15. Ball A is moving with a velocity 5 ms minus 1 to collide with ball B at rest. A moving with 5. Ball A is moving with 5 ms minus 1 to collide with B at rest. To collide with B at rest. Masses of A and B are 10 and 5. 10 kg and 5 kg. What would not be the velocities of A and B after collision? Right. What would not be the velocities of A and B after collision? First check the total initial momentum in the system. Total initial momentum. Right. Let's say LM. We know momentum is M and V, M times V, 10 times 5 plus 5 times 0, which means total is going to be 50, right? Kg ms minus 1. What is conservation of linear momentum? Linear momentum is conserved. Conserved means constant, right? Unchanged. Then total initial momentum should be equal to total final momentum, right? එහෙනම් මේ තියෙන value substitute කරලා බලන්න. 50 එන්නේ මොනවද? 50 එන්නේ නැත්නම් මොනවද කියලා. 50 එන්නේ නැති එක තමයි answer එක. Got it? දැන් අපිට නැත්තම් හතරක් calculations කරලා බලන්න බෑ. Right? What we know is total initial momentum is 50. Then it must be 50 at the final state as well, according to conservation of linear momentum. Argument is that according to conservation of linear momentum, momentum is conserved. Then if there is 50 at initially, finally also it should be same 50 remains, right? मैं दाला multiply करला බලන්න. First එක මම check කරනවා. ओहो wait first එකේ තියෙන්නේ it should be 10 over 3 and 10 over 3 yeah. First එකේ තියෙන්නේ 10 over 3 and 10 over 3. That's a typo. ඒ typos මොනවා හරි check කරනොත් මට පොඩ්ඩක් කියන්න. මම දැක්කේ නැහැ. Right? 10 over 3 and 10 over 3. බලන්න දාලා එන්නේ නැහැ. මේක හදලා බලන්න ඉතින්. 10 over 3 times 10 plus 10 over 3 times 5. මෙතනින් එන්නේ 100 over 3 plus මෙතනින් එනවා 50 over 3. ආයෙකින් එනවානේ 150 over 3. 50. So it is a possible value. It's a possible value. අන්නේම check කරලා බලන්න. If there's a pair, it is not equal to 50, that should be the answer. දැන් එහෙම එකක් නැති වුණොත් ඊළඟ ස්ටෙප් එකට යන්න ඕනේ. දැන් මුලින්ම මේක check කරලා බලලා එහෙම එකක් තියෙනවා නම් ඉතින් එතනින් question එක ඉවරයි. මේක මුලින් මේක check කරන්න. එහෙම නැත්නම් තව arguments තියෙනවා මේකේ. This is not the only argument. ඔක්කොම 50 වෙනවද? second එකට දැම්මොත් 3 times 10 කියන්නේ 30, 4 times 5 කියන්නේ 20. second එක satisfy වෙනවා. third එක 2 times 10 20, 6 times 5 30. It is also satisfied. 5 over 3 කියලා කියන්නේ එතනින් එන්නේ 50 over 3, අතනින් එන්නේ 100 over 3 ඒකත් satisfy වෙනවා. ඔක්කොම satisfy වෙනවා. Right. All are satisfied. එහෙනම් මේකෙන් check කරන්න බෑ. තව argument එකක් ඕනේ. Then think of the actual collision. The higher mass comes with the velocity. Right? The higher mass comes with the velocity and it's on this. Right? Then motion of this lesser mass is definitely going to be in this direction. Right? And this should be definitely less than 5. Yeah, that's a collider. Then some linear momentum, some momentum from this one will be transferred to 5. Right? අනිවාර්යෙන් transfer වෙනවා. මේකේ ඊළඟ velocity එක it's never going to be 5 or greater than 5. It should be less than 5. ඊළඟ බලන්න එහෙම answers තියනවාද කියලා. ඔක්කොම less than 5. එහෙනම් තව argue කරන්න වෙනවා. Then we have to think whether this is coming back or not. හරි ඊට වඩා easy argument එකක් තියෙනවා. හරි. Now I'm just observing the answers. ඊට වඩා easy argument එකක් තියෙනවා. Why? 10 is moving with 5 no? Right? And it hits with a smaller mass. So therefore, with the smaller mass, its momentum cannot make 0 at any time. ඒ කියන්නේ ඒ කියන්නේ ලොකු එක්කෙනෙක් ඇවිල්ලා හැප්පිලා ලොකු එක්කෙනාගේ velocity එක stop වෙන්නේ නැහැ. එයාටත් අනිවාර්යෙන් ඒ කියන්නේ නිකන් මේ වගේ. Say a Leyland bus got crashed with a motorbike. Something like that. බස් එක stop වෙන්නේ නැහැ බයික් එක කියලා. When it's not practical. So therefore this is never going to be 0. කෙලින් මේක argument එකක් තියෙනවා. Answer is 5. Answer is 5. Right? I didn't notice it before. This is the argument. Larger mass with initial velocity is never going to stop. එහෙම වෙන්න බෑ. මේක stop වෙන්න පුළුවන් මීට වඩා large mass එකක් එක්ක වැදුණා නම්. ඒ කියන්නේ දැන් 10 එක 20 collide වුණා කියනවා. Then there's a possibility of making the velocity of 10 0. Having a zero velocity for 10. පොඩි එක්කෙනෙක් එක්ක collide වෙලා එහෙම වෙන්නේ නැහැ. It hits with a smaller mass. So it is never going to be 0. It's with a smaller mass. Right? Never going to be 0. Right. Then try 16 to 20. Now it's 9:13. 9:13. I'll give up to 9:25. Is there any issue if we finish the class today by 10 at 10? Fine with you? Fine, no? Okay. Fine. Okay, for online students, that's fine, no? Right. Actually, with that, the connection issue we had, my plan was ruined a bit, ruined in the sense now I planned for the 3-hour discussion. Right. Forward your questions if there's anything, if there's anything to know. Sorry. In question 19, it should be thrust force, not thrust. It should be thrust. Thrust force, question 19. Thrust. in question 19, if you need sine 70 or cos 70, now an unknown angle is given, no? Then it must be found from the tables, right? Tables නැත්තම් ඒක වන්න විදියක් නැහැ. ඒක sine table එකෙන් ගන්න ඕනේ. Right? For MCQ paper also you are getting sine tables in the exam, right? මම ඕන්න දැන් වැලියු එක දෙන්නම්. Sin 70 and cos 70. නැත්තම් මේක ටේබල් එකෙන් බලන්න ඕනේ. මොකක් හරි කේස් එකක unknown angle එකක් තියෙනවා නම් වෙන options නැහැ. බලන්න වෙනවා. Now for that question, take this as a given data 0.94. Consider these two as given. (0.34). Consider these two as given. Consider these two as given. If you have finished, don't just wait. You can try other questions because 5 more questions remaining. Right. Okay, let's see. 16. A uniform capital N length straight rope is placed on a smooth horizontal table. Force F is applied on a terminal of the rope. The tension at a point which is x distance from the other terminal is okay, like this now. Force is applied at one terminal and we need the tension at x distance from the other terminal. Right. Then you need to find the tension at a middle point, right? At any middle point, break the system, intersect the system from the task point, right? Hypothetically, intercept the system from that task point, right? Okay, so first of all, anyway, we need the acceleration. Then for system, use F equals ma. This is for system. Then only force applied on is F. Mass is given. Oh no, mass is not given, so it will cancel. I consider mass as ma. Now acceleration is F of m. Right? Acceleration is F of m. Now, if you need to find the tension here, break the system from this point. And if a system is broken from a point hypothetically, what actually remains at that system is attraction forces. The actual reason behind that is if you are breaking a point, intersecting a point hypothetically, that is in reality that is connected. So therefore, at that breaking point, there should be tensions remaining as attractions only. Molecules, the two molecules that are at the same point are attracting together. So therefore, only attraction forces remain. Right? That you have to know. Then here, tension remains on this side towards this direction, and tension remains on that side towards this direction as attractions only. Attractions. Right? Attractions. Right. Now consider either of the sides and apply F equals ma again. Now, since one force is already here on this side, I'm not going to use that side because I have to deal with two forces now. Directly, I'm going to use this side. For this side, use F equals ma again in the rightward direction. Then only force remains in the system is T, right? And we need mass. For mass, what you can do is, we know total mass of the rod is capital M, simple M. I considered. That is not given, I considered. Right? Then, can't we find the mass of a unit length? Right? That is the idea. If we need a required length, the best approach is find the mass per unit length. Right? What is mass per unit length? Mass per unit length. Mass per unit length means total mass over total length. Right? The idea is like this. Let's say you have a rod of 10 meters long and 10 kilogram mass. Then mass per 1 meter is going to be 1 kilogram. That is called mass per unit length. Right? Now this rod is simple capital L length long and mass, total mass is m. So mass per unit length is going to be m over n. When mass per unit length is known, you can multiply this with the required length and get that required mass. Now let's say you need mass of half of a length, half of the rod, then m over L into L over 2. You get m over 2. Got it? Something like that. Mass per unit length is known, which means this is not only valid for masses, lengths. This is valid for areas, volumes, and electric fields. Unit volumes calculations. So if the unit value is known, multiply that with the required length or required area or required volume, then you will get that respective mass or charge or whatever it is you need. Right? Now I need the mass of length x now. Then mass of length x is going to be m over L times x. Got it? So here mass is m over L times x into acceleration. Acceleration is f of m. See, m cancels. That was put by us. And t equals fx over L. This is the value. Fx over L. 3. For 16, answer 3. Fx over L. Is it clear? Understood? Understood? What about online? All good? Yeah, okay, good. 17. Two M1 and M2 masses of cubes are placed on a smooth horizontal table as shown in the diagram. Horizontal F force is applied on mass M2. The reaction between two masses is, that's an easy one, right? So if you need reactions, anyway, first of all, you need accelerations, right? Again, use F equals ma for the system. Only force acts on the system is, because these two are going to cancel, here there will be two reactions on these two mutual reactions, they are cancelling. So F equals, total mass is M1 plus M2 into acceleration of the system. So acceleration is F over M1 plus M2. When you have multiple options, always choose the force frame with minimum number of forces, right? Because dealing with the minimum number of forces is the easiest way. Now, if I am to choose this force frame, I have to deal with two forces. So I'm not going to select this side. I'll be using this side. Got it? Then for that one, F equals ma again, then only force remains is R. So directly R comes. Then M1F over M1 plus M2. M1F over M1 plus M2. M1F over M1 plus M2, again 3. 18. A similar past paper question for 18 is also there. Not the exact one, but the same one, very similar one. Okay. Right. A man with mass 60 kilograms is connected with a system of pulleys as shown. The force must be applied on the string to lift him up from the floor. To lift up from the floor. Now this is a floor. First thing is, if he is lifting up from the floor, what can you say about the reaction between floor and the foot? 0, right? So therefore, no need to mark it. There is 0, right? That R's force is going to be applied on the rod, which means this is the force we are interested. Clear? Now, in one of the previous questions also I told you, if that's the same string, same light string, tension is going to be same. Tensions are same, equal, right? Now, how many different strings are here? How many different strings are here? Huh? How many different strings? That you have to decide. Here we have two pulleys, right? So you know what pulleys are. Then think of the strings. Always strings are going over pulleys. Strings are going over pulleys, no? So how many different strings? That's the point here. How many different strings? Two. What about two? Only one, right? There's only one. Yes, there is only one. Because the same string goes over this pulley, and connected to here. Right? Pulleys, strings දෙකක් තියෙනවා නම් strings දෙකේ ends දෙක කොහට හරි connect වෙලා තියෙන්න ඕනේ. ඉතින් එහෙම points තියෙනවද කියලා මේක along ගිහිල්ලා බලන්න. Go along the string and see. This is going over the pulley. This is also going over the pulley. Then one end of the string is here and the other end is here. So there is only one string. Right? හරි. ඒක දැක්කම මේ ගාන ඉවරයි. Then this is T, this is also T, this is also T, this is also T, this is also T. Same string, same T. Right? Now, if this is T and T, we have light pulleys here, then tension of this string is going to be, it's a string. Yeah, that's a string. Then with that, there is 2. With that, there is 2. Now, if this is 2T upwards on the same pulley, then this should be 2T downwards at once. So, now make a mark. Because pulleys are light. Light pulleys means M equals 0. If M equals 0, F equals ma. If m equals 0, F is going to be 0. So the resultant force on the pulley should be 0. If there is 2D upwards already, then downwards also it should be 2D. Now this is the same thing again. Then if this is 2D, this is also 2D. Right? Okay. Now I'm going to select the system in this way. Make a mode na mamma akkala pennu idawa string ekak thiyena inda mamma mena system ekak select karaganna. Now he is lifting up no. So we are selecting this force frame. Selecting force frame is something you have to be clever of, because now there are different force frames that you can select in the same question. Make it force frames. Right? You have to be clever to select the most easiest and the shortest force frame. Right? Then force frames are because these forces are unknown. Right? Then a person and what about the weight? 16. Then here we have 600 newtons. Right. Now if I consider this force frame, it should be in an equilibrium, because he is going to just lift up. It is not accelerating yet, just lifting up. Just lifting up means it is almost at the equilibrium. Almost equilibrium. Just lifting up. Right? Then consider the equilibrium of vertical equilibrium of this system. Vertically upwards we have these two cancels. Vertically upwards we have T all together. Right? Vertical downwards only 600. So T is 200. Answer 2. For 18, answer 2. $19. The forces acting on a leg is shown below. If the thrust force acting on the toes by the flow is F, then the tension T would be. Okay. The force frame is given. This is given as 70. And here a thrust force is given with an angle 30. Oh, sorry, 60. With an angle 60. Right? And another force is given here that we don't know. Another different force is given as that we don't know. And lengths are given. If lengths are given, that's a must know hint. If lengths are given, which means that's a hint to consider force moments. Right? Lengths dunna again, moments ganna thamai anivaren denne. If lengths are given. And moments ganna puluwan vidak idanna. Since V is unknown, consider force moments about that particular point. Let's say this is O. So I'm going to consider force moments about point O. Because if there's a force which goes through the considered point, it won't come in the force moments, because there's no perpendicular distance. Right? Perpendicular distance. Right? Since I need components, I'm going to get these components. This is T sine 70, and this is going to be F sine 60. Right? Then perpendicular forces are there, perpendicular distances are given. Leftward force moment. Leftward force moment is due to F sine 60. Then this side, F sine 60 comes into perpendicular distance 3L over 4. And clockwise force moment is due to T sine 70. T sine 70, distance is L over 4. Right? L over 4 to L over 4 cancels. F sine 60. Sine 60 is root 3 over 2 times 3. And T sine 70 is given 0.94. Right? Now here after this is simplification. What's the value of root 3? That you should know. There are 3 root values frequently used in physics that you should know. What is the value of root 3? 1.732. Right? Many roots na physics la mataka diyaganna dannatta. Nitarama questions lo ono. Right? Root 2 1.414. Root 3 1.732. Root 5 2.23. Right. Then we need T, right? We need T. Then subject T. T equals F times root 3 is 1.732 into 3 over 2 times 0.94. Simplify this and see. Simplify and see, it comes to 2.77. 1. Simplify kala it is 2.77. Okay, vector diagrams. Two FA, 3AB. Check these values if I'm correct, right? Then EA, 2EF, 2EF, EC, 2CB, 2CB, DC. There's one more, ED. Right. The resultant of the vector diagram is, right. When it comes to vector diagrams, we are using vector triangle and vector additive law mostly when solving vector diagrams, right? Vector triangle, we know vector triangle is valid for only how many vectors? Only two vectors, right? And third side of the triangle gives the resultant, right? Vector additive law means if you have vectors with same coefficient, you can write the final vectors from start to the end at once. Now let's say this is like A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and all these vectors are having the same coefficient. Then vector AB plus BC plus CD plus DE plus FG can be written as vector AG at once, right? So start from somewhere that you can see a simplification. That doesn't matter, right? I'll be starting from here. And I'm going to erase. So look at the board. I'm going to erase while simplifying. Keep looking at the boards. And tell me these values. Vector ED plus vector DC. What's the answer? Vector ED plus vector DC. Always resultant vector is the vector from initial point to the final point. And the direction is initial to final. Right? Vector ED plus vector DC. That is going to be vector EC. Now already there is an EC, no? Then that resultant EC is also going to put on this same thing. Then EC plus EC, it is going to be 2AC. Is it clear? Simplify blue again. Then this is going to be 2AC when these two are simplified. Now these two are no more simplified. Clear? If coefficients are equal, always you can simplify. 2EC plus 2CB. And arrows should be same, otherwise vector angle cannot be applied. Directions of arrows, that is called the cyclical direction. Cyclical direction should be same. If you have head-on arrows, you can't use, right? Vector, sorry, I didn't see. Vector BE. Vector BE. Okay, what about these two? Vector 2EC plus 2CB. That is going to be 2. What is EC plus CB? EC plus CB is EB. EB, no? EC plus CB, EB. Then 2EC plus 2CB should be 2EC. Now 2EB. Now what's happening is already a BE is given downwards, and as a result, we are getting 2BE upwards, right? Then the resultant of these two is going to be BE upwards. 2EB upwards. Then the resultant is going to be only 1 EB upwards. Is it clear? Right? This can be written as minus EB. Right? BE equals minus EB. When you switch letters, which means direction is switched. And when you add a minus sign again direction is switched. Again, vector B equals vector minus EB. Right? Then then only EB remains. Correct? Then this can be erased, this can be erased, and here what is remaining is only EB. Make it an upwards EB. Right. Then when we simplify simplify 2EF plus 2FA. What is it? 2EA. Already here we have 1 EA, then it's going to be 3 EA altogether. Right? Is it clear? 3 EA altogether. Then these two are also no more. These two are also no more. Right. Now what is remaining? May දෙකක් තියෙනවනේ. කෙලින්ම මේ දෙක සිම්පල් කරන එක ලේසියි. 3EA plus 3AB is going to be 3EA plus 3AB is going to be 3EB. Already we have 1 EB here, then it's 4 EB altogether. 4 EB altogether. 4 EB, answer 2. For 20, answer 2. Is it clear? Got it? Got the correct answer? Good. Got it? No? Right. Okay, we'll quickly discuss last 5 and wind up. Right? Okay, in last 5 questions, 2 are statements, right? There are 2 statements. One, there's only 2 calculations, right? Try last 5, 20 to 25 during like 8 minutes. Now it's 9:47, 8 minutes. Then 9 by 9:55. If you got any questions, forward them. If there's anything you didn't get, you can ask now. I had to phase up, I had to speed up, because we had few issues with the with that connection thing, right? So that's why I speeded up to finish all, right? If you have any questions, feel free to ask, right? Now always questions are welcome. Questions are welcome. Asking questions means you are learning something new. Once you got the answer for the question. Right, finish. Okay. 21. An object is in equilibrium on a rough inclined plane. What's the most correct force diagram? Right. Then from its center, mgx, right, center of gravity. And from this contact, a resultant perpendicular reaction acts, not resultant, a perpendicular reaction acts. And the moving tendency of this is going to be downwards the plane. If it is slipping, it is going to slip downwards the plane. So friction should be upwards, and friction is always acting at the contacting surface, right? Then it's 1, right? Yeah, it's 1. 4 is wrong because the point where mgx is not the center of gravity in that case, right? That is 1 for 21. 1. That is a simple one. For 21, answer 1. Right, 22. A trolley with mass m is moving along a smooth horizontal plane. A man with mass m is walking on it to opposite direction with u. Velocity relative to the trolley. Change of the velocity of trolleys. Change of velocity of trolleys. Okay. Now initially, which means it is moving with v, isn't it? A trolley with mass m is moving along a smooth horizontal plane. Right. Initially, it is moving with v. Right. Then, if this person walks on it, initially this is moving with v. Then initial momentum the system had was to this direction. Initial momentum the system had was m plus m. We know when the person is on the trolley, right? And the final momentum should also be same as the initial momentum, right? Now we'll consider the new velocity of the trolley as x. New velocity of the trolley as x. So if this person walks to the opposite direction, then we can write this at once as m plus m, because now the new trolley is going to be moving with x, right? And the person is moving to the opposite direction, mu, right? Now from this, subject x is m plus m times v plus mu over m plus m, right? We need the change of velocity. Change of velocity is now initial velocity was v and the final velocity is this, right? Then we can just check whether it's increasing or decreasing. If this person is walking to the left, then the backward force acts on the trolley, so it is going to increase. So therefore, I'm going to take x minus v, right? Then m plus mv plus mu over m plus m minus v. Simplify this. Capital MV plus simple MV plus mu minus capital MV minus simple MV over m plus m, right? Capital MV to simple MV to minus these two cancels, right? Then mu over m plus m remains. Mu over m plus m, answer 3. x වැඩි උනේ දැන් මෙයා මේ පැත්තට නම් walk කරන්නේ මෙයාගේ කකුලෙන් එන force එක කියන්නේ backwards. When we are walking forward, the force acts on floor by the foot is backwards. දැන් backward යන්නේ මෙයාට එන්නේ. ඒකෙන් accelerate වෙනවා. ඒක ඔයා අනිත් පැත්තට ගත්තත් අවුලන්නේ එහෙම වුණොත් minus mu කියලා එන්නේ minus answer එක දීලා නැහැ. That's a hint that you are getting the velocity in the opposite direction. Consider the given statement about an object in equilibrium under a system of coplanar forces. Coplanar means all forces are on the same plane, right? A. Have you finished? A. The algebraic summation of moments of forces must be 0 at least at one point on the plane. Consider the given statement about an object in equilibrium under a system of coplanar forces. Right? We don't know how many forces are, but it says that is in equilibrium. Right? So there are two basic conditions satisfied by any object in equilibrium. One is algebraic summation of forces along any direction is zero, and the second one is algebraic summation of force moments about any point of the system is zero. About any point should be zero. So what A says is algebraic summation of moments of forces must be zero at least one point on the plane, not at least one point. It should be zero at any point, about any point. Right? It must be complete at least one of the following conditions. The algebraic summation of moments of forces must be zero about all the points on the plane. That is correct. The resultant must be zero. Yes, that is also correct. See, the moment of the resultant must be zero around all the points of the plane. The moment of resultant force must be zero. Yes, because if these two are satisfied only, the system is in equilibrium. Forces විතරක් zero වෙලා moment එකක් තිබ්බ කියන්නේ ඒක equilibrium එකක් නෙමෙයි. A good example is a force couple. Right? Force couple එකේ වෙන්නේ. Force couple එකේ forces තියෙන්නේ මේ විදිහට. Force couple ඔය tap එකේ එහෙම තියෙන දන්නවද? Right? Force couple. Two equal forces in opposite directions. Resultant force is zero, but yet resultant G is not zero. That is 2FR. 2FR में कारण. Right? So this is not an equilibrium. It's rotating. That is not an equilibrium. මේ දෙකම satisfy වුණ නැත්නම් equilibrium එකක් නැහැ. So B is strong because එයා කියනවා at least කියලා. At least නෙමෙයි. Both of them should be satisfied. ඒ දීලා තියෙන දෙක හරි, but both of them should be satisfied at once. At least එකක් වෙලා හරියන්නේ නැහැ. Moments නැති වෙලා ඕක අනිත් පැත්තට වෙනවා. එහෙම systems උත් තියෙනවා. Moment එක zero වෙලා මේ forces තියෙන්නත් පුළුවන්. Such systems are also there. So at least one point first again, A is also wrong then. B is also wrong. Only C is correct. C only. For 23, only C. Right? At least both of them should be satisfied. මේ equilibrium එකේ අපි කතා කරන main conditions දෙක. මේ දෙක නැත්නම් system එකක් equilibrium එකේ නැහැ. Right? Those two are the two main conditions we discuss in equilibrium. 24. A measurement would not be obtained from spirometer is the measurement that need to find the internal radius of a spherical surface. Right, spirometer. What about internal radius? Finding radius of curvature of an internal surface. Possible or not possible? Now we know spirometer is specifically designed to measure radius of curvature. Specific. In addition to that, thickness and depth can be measured using the screw tip there. Screw එකක් තියෙනවනේ. Screw එකේ මයින්න පුළුවන්. But specific purpose of the spirometer is to measure radius of curvature. අර equation අප්පු කරන්නේ R equals a squared over 6 plus h/2 කියලා. අන්න ඒක තමයි ගන්න. internal surface එක ගන්න පුළුවන්ද? ගන්න පුළුවන්. right? ඉතින් මේ legs මෙහෙම තිබ්බා. මේ screw tip එක මෙතන නිකන් පාත් කරන්න ඕනේ. measure කරන්න පුළුවන්. Either direction it can be measured. මේකට measure කරන්න පුළුවන්. මේක measure කරනවා නම් screw tips එන්නේ මෙහෙම මේක තමයි ඔය practical guide එකෙන් බැලුවොත් මේ diagram එකේ තියෙනවා. screw tip එක ඒතර මෙතෙන්ට. right? Usually this is center zero. මෙයාගේ මේ scale එකේ තියෙන center zero. 0 ඉඳන් 5 වෙනකම් මේ පැත්තට 5 වෙනකම් කොහොමද මේ 5 නෙමෙයි 10 වෙනකම්. මෙන්න මෙහෙමනේ තියෙන center zero. Then thickness or depth can be measured. මේ දෙකම ගන්න පුළුවන්. The measurement that need to find internal radius possible. The measurement that need to find the external radius possible. To measure the linear expansion of a long rod. Linear expansion means length should be determined. Linear expansion කියන්නේ length එක. මේකෙන් depth ගන්න පුළුවන්. හරි. ඊට ටික බලන්න. depth එක පුළුවන්. depth measure කරන්න පුළුවන්. ඒකටත් මේකේ තියෙන experiment guide එකේ තියෙනවා. මෙයාව මෙහෙම surface එක තියාගෙන right? surface එක තියාගෙන මේ legs මෙහෙම මේ surface එකේ තියෙනවා නම් screw tip එක විතරක් මෙතෙන්ට පාත් කරන්න පුළුවන්. depth එක measure කරන්න පුළුවන්. ඕකම අනිත් පැත්ත thickness measure කරන්න පුළුවන්. right? Internal diameter of a cylindrical cube. Internal diameter ගන්න බෑනේ. ඒක වැරදි. Diameters කොහොමද බෑ? Diameters ගන්න අපිට ඉන්න මොනවද instruments? Internal diameters ගන්න පුළුවන් කාටද? What are the instruments here? To take internal diameters. Only vernier caliper. Right? Screw gauge එකට ගන්නත් බෑ internal diameters. හරි? travelling microscope එකට පුළුවන්. අනිත් දෙකට බෑ. travelling microscope එකට ඕන එකක් පුළුවන්. මොකද ඒක focus කරලානේ කරන්නේ. Right? Thickness of a glass slide. Thickness පුළුවන් මම කිව්වනේ මෙතෙන්දී. හරි? So the answer is diameter for diameters කොහොමද ගන්න බෑ ස්පෙරෝමීටර් එක. මොකද diameter එක measure කරන්න there has to have two fixed points. diameter එක measure කරන්න මෙහෙම මොනවා හරි fixed points එකක් තියෙන්න බෑ. මෙයාගේ එහෙම එකක් නැහැ නේ මේ screw tip එක move කරන්න විතරට පුළුවන්. legs ටික තියාගෙන screw tip එක වෙනම move කරන්න පුළුවන් වෙන්න ඕනේ. එහෙම measurements විතරයි ගන්න පුළුවන්. 25. Two A and B wooden blocks are connected with a pulley as shown in the diagram. The floor is rough and the pulley is light and smooth. Right. The force P is enough to slightly move the two blocks. The frictional force between A and B is 5 newtons. And it is between B and floor is 10 newtons. The tension of the string is, right. How many strings are here? Only one, right? Only one. So when you mark frictions, when you mark frictions, start marking friction with the point that you can see the motion or moving tendency directly, right? Now, is it A or B that you can see the motion or the moving tendency directly? Is it? That is A. Only A. මේකනේ direct force එක තියෙන්නේ. එතනින් පටන් ගන්න මෙහෙම පටන් ගන්න එපා. හරි? objects තුනක් හතරක් දුන්නාට පස්සේ යටවෙන් පටන් ගන්න කරන්න බෑ. අනිවාර්යෙන් force එක තියෙන object එකෙන් පටන් ගන්න. Start from the very point that you see, you clearly see the moving or motion or moving tendency, right? එහෙනම් මේකනේ. මෙයාගේ moving tendency එක මේ පැත්ත නිසා friction should be to this side. The value is 5, right? All right. Then equal and opposite friction of this thing acts on the other, and that is to the opposite direction, right? On the same object, frictions are acting only to the same direction on parallel surfaces. කියන්නේ දැන් මේකේ කවදාවත් friction එක එන්නේ නැහැ උඩේගේ මේ පැත්තට යටේගේ මේ පැත්තට. එහෙම වෙන්නේ නැහැ system එක. Because friction is the, what is friction? Friction is the disturbance for motion. Then if the motion is only along a particular direction, then disturbance should be to the opposite direction. So මතක තියාගන්න, on the same object, frictions are always to the same direction. හරි? එහෙනම් මේක 5 නම් මෙයාගේ 10 එකනේ මේ පැත්තට. හරි? මුලින් මාක් කරන්න එපා කිව්වේ ඒක. දැන් මේකේ third object එකක් එහෙම තිබ්බනම් තවත් වෙනස් වෙනවා. මේ 10 එකේ opposite එක මෙහෙට එනවා, අනිත් එක මේ පැත්තට එනවා. right? එහෙම යන්නේ. Right? This is called the relative motion of objects. Right? Now we need tension. Then tension එක මාක් කරගන්න. Only one string. Right? To slightly move, no? Do we know the value of P? Do we know the value of P? No. Alright. To slightly move. Alright. P දන්නේ නැහැ. එහෙනම් මේ system එක consider කරන්න. Slightly moving means is again almost at rest. Almost at the equilibrium. Slightly moving. වෙන්න හදනවා විතරයි දාන්න. හරි. එහෙනම් අපිට rest එක consider කරන්න පුළුවන්. දැන් උඩේක consider කරන්න බෑ because P is unknown. උඩේකෙන් හදලා හදන්න පුළුවන්. එහෙම වුණොත් මේ system එකත් තරම් මේකත් ගන්න ඕනේ. කරදරයිනේ. එළිම මේක ගන්න. Horizontal equilibrium. Horizontally leftwards we have T, rightwards you have 5 and 10, 50. 25, answer 4. Right? So quickly tell me the correct number. Once, correct out of 25, and you better put it on the paper. Out of 25, put the correct number. And online students also, quickly. It's 10 now, right? So before starting also I told you this time is extendable because this is what happens when we start discussing questions. Online students, what about you? How many are correct out of 25? Afil 17, good. Pranudip 12. You? 14. 18. 13. 12. Right. So next day we'll be discussing the part 2 of the same one, right? And it will cover entire mechanics, right? Entire mechanics, and during the first month I'm going to extend this up to optics, right? During the first month. The second month again, optics වලින් එහාට එන questions එතකොට දිගටම දානවා, right? Even though if there are any new theories, you will learn if there are new theories with the questions we are discussing, right? Okay then, any other questions before winding up? Anything? All good? Have a question? Reaction resultant again, method. You can maybe resultant force that pencil lab. Again, pencil lab, then මොකක්ද සර්ෆස් එක මේ ඔබ්ජෙක්ට් එක රියල් දෙනවා නම් ඇත්තටම වෙන්නේ මෙතන ඉඳන් මෙතනට යනකම් ඉන්ෆයිනයිට් නම්බර් ඔෆ් රියැක්ෂන්ස් එනවා. ඔක තමයි ඇත්ත මේක. අපි ඔක රිසල්ටන්ට් එක මාක් කරන්නේ. ඉතින් මේ ඔක්කොම රිසල්ටන්ට් එක එන්න ඕනේ මෙතනින්. ඒක හරියට මැද්දට එන්නේ. right? හරි. ඒක තමයි මේ වැරදි. මෙහෙම වෙන්න බෑ. ඒක හරියටම දැන් මෙයා සිමෙට්‍රික් නම් මේ සිමෙට්‍රික් ලයින් එක go through කරන්න ඕනේ. right? Is that all? Okay. මොනවාද දෙනවද නේද? Yes. Momentum change එක නෙමෙයි ගත්තේ. velocity එක change. හා? ඔව්. relative earth හදන්නත් පුළුවන්. right? මම අද දවසේ කියලා නෑ. relative earth හදනවා නම් මෙන්න මේ වැලියු එකත් earth එකට වාගෙන දාන්නවා. හරි? එහෙමත් පුළුවන්. එහෙම වුණොත් same answer එක එනවා. right? ඒ මොකක් හරි අපි ගන්න එක object එකකට relative ගන්න ඕන. Okay, any questions from online students? That's all. That's all. Right. No. All right. Then we'll wind up. And we'll meet again on the next Monday with part 2 of the paper. Go through structured essays because you'll be start writing structured essays next day. Cover structured essays up to mechanics. Right. Then I'll be including all structured essays as to cover all in the coming up papers. Okay, then මේක දාන එක නෙමෙයි ඊළඟ එකේ දාන්න. මේ විදිහට mix කරලා we have 38 structured essays now with the latest revision done, right? Previous it was 42, now it's 38, right? Now it's 38. So we'll cover all 38 one by one when we are moving on, right? Again, එක paper එකේ ඉතින් දාන්න පුළුවන් එකක් එක්ක 2 එක්ක 4, either 2 or 4, right? එහෙම ගිහිල්ලා papers 10ක් විතර ලියද්දී ඔඩි cover වෙනවා. එහෙම තමයි ඒක cover වෙනවා. Right? So refer structured essays up to mechanics and yeah, all theories up to mechanics because next day we will be starting writing structured essays and essays. Got it? Okay then see you all in the next class. Go safe and stay safe and study hard. Goodbye and good night.